you're posting, you're speaking, you're doing everything they told you would grow your business. So why is it not converting? Because visibility is only half the equation. Getting attention is easy. Turning that attention into clients takes strategy. VoiceLab was built to solve that. This is where front-end visibility meets back-end conversion. You learn how to get on stages, create your own platforms, and use podcasts, summits, and workshops to grow your audience and generate real leads. Then you learn what most people never build. A system that captures those leads, follows up, nurtures relationships, and turns interest into revenue. Email and newsletter strategy that actually gets responses. Workflows, not just more noise. Real connection that leads to real business. Inside VoiceLab, you are not guessing. You're learning the how. You're implementing in real time. You're building a business that works even when you are not constantly chasing attention. Because here's the truth. If you don't have visibility, no one knows you exist. If you don't have systems, nothing converts. VoiceLab gives you both, so you can stop performing for attention and start building momentum that pays you back. If you are ready to grow your authority, expand your reach, and finally turn visibility into income, join Coleen Stubbs and Nicole Borghi in the VoiceLab. Scan the QR code, join VoiceLab Group on the school platform, and build the business that actually works.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Monday Morning Business Foreplay. How is everybody doing this morning?
Fantastic.
Good morning. Good morning. Come on camera now.
Really good.
You good. And you feel free to unmute yourself. I'm going to go ahead and start the recording. Awesome. So grateful for all of you for coming out today. I know it is a holiday weekend, but some of us are watching our husband mow the lawn, so not a big deal to be on here doing something productive. I am Coleen Stubbs. Welcome to Monday Morning Business Foreplay. I'm the founder of Simplified CEO Systems, and I help midlife entrepreneurs build businesses they're madly passionate about. I do that by teaching them to simplify, automate, and delegate inside their back office using Go High Level as my CRM platform. Today's guest is Nicole Borghi, my favorite Nicole in the entire world. Actually, for those of you who don't know, we collaborate on a lot of projects, and I just love Nicole's stance on getting on mic. And so, Nicole, welcome. Thank you so much for being my last minute guest. For those of you who don't know, we had another guest planned this morning, and oddly enough, he bailed last minute. So it is always good to have collaborators that understand how business works. This is going on 2 years of doing this podcast. I've never had that happen before, but so grateful to have a collaborator that could jump up and fill the spot on a moment's notice. And of course, Nicole's message is always amazing. And so, Nicole, let's jump into it. We're going to be diving into how the mic is the new marketing funnel. You and I strongly agree on this. And you're going to share with us why speaking and live presence are the most underused marketing funnels in business and how one stage appearance can feed your pipeline for months. Everybody here is going to walk away with real strategy, real perspective, and a few uncomfortable truths because growth never comes from comfort. Welcome, Nicole.
Well, thanks for having me. And yeah, hey, glad to support. I know what it's like. I had somebody last minute, just a few hours before the podcast bail for no reason. I mean, at least today you got the excuse of it's Memorial Day, but you got to show up when you say you're going to show up, right? And then if a catastrophe does happen, you're not running around. But it's always good to support. We've got great people here today in the audience that are here to support and really say, hey, I'm going to show up and shout out, and I could be doing something, but there's 24 hours in the day. So why not take a few minutes to support your friends, those people that you built a relationship with? And if you don't know me, I'm Nicole Borghi. I'm an event to scale visibility leader, and I really work with entrepreneurs. I show them how to really leverage those virtual events as a marketing machine and build authority platforms that are everlasting, influencing to your audience, your aligned audience, and really building those revenue streams. I create done for you, done with you virtual events. That's whether it's a summit, a workshop, a masterclass, or anything that you're creating, you want to do that powerfully. That's even going into virtual reality in a world of AI. Where are we going? You want to get several steps ahead of the game. It's simple to go in. You don't need a lot of equipment, and that is going to be bringing back this year. But it's really, hey, things are different. Things are moving forward. But what we always have that's tried and true is relationship building, and that's what I love. Is just building those relationships.
I love that you say that, Nicole. Now, I'm going to say that I attended your summit last week as a speaker. One of the things that I have really enjoyed about getting to know people, getting on events, whether it's a webinar, whether it's a summit or a networking event, is I really enjoy, and this is going to go against everything everybody thinks, I love the small numbers. I think more than 18 people is too many for me. And I am sure that I go against the grain with that. But we went to your summit last week. I attended that every day as much as I could. I did have a master class in the middle of it, but I walked away and the numbers weren't huge. I don't remember, maybe 12 people in the room at a time. And I walked away with 4 appointments, 2 conversions. And so I think that when we're talking about getting on the mic and using that as our marketing, that the power is in building those relationships. It really is not so much like how many people can we reach at this one thing, because are you really reaching them? Are you really connecting? Are you having the opportunity to say, hey, Mike, how's it been going for you lately? Where are you in your business? Things like that. And really connect, really get to know the people that are there. I think that's the magic in it. Thoughts, Nicole?
Well, it is, because what happens with that's great to say that, because what happens is when we have smaller groups and we're truly working the audience that we have, then we have a better connection. People have that moment. That's why the workshop is better than the webinar, because you truly have that ability to work with people and to get them in the room, ask them questions, gives them a chance to turn off the camera. We even did a restream and we were live on LinkedIn, Rumble, YouTube, and there was some collaboration links that went out there. So we're supporting the masses and it's marketing. But what it is it's marketing to an aligned audience of your core group of people. I love to get to know my speakers. Before you get on my stage, I've got to meet with you once. I've got to have a phone conversation with you. I want to know that we resonate. I want to know that we're sharing the same core message. I want to know that we're talking to the same people, or why would people show up? What's the reason is that we're growing our leads and we're expanding our community at all times, and truly we're always looking for new clients and we have to make a sale, but we can't do that if we don't talk to people. People want to get on a call with you if they know you. That's why it's so important. And I want to say this, and I know I say this all the time, but I'm going to stick to it. There's higher sales in the conversion of the speakers you get to know. When you're in a smaller room, you get to know the speakers. When the speakers truly show up to collaborate, like the agreement says that they're going to do, and send out emails, which they don't always do, then they're going to be in there. They're sharing the same message. They know that your stuff is tried and true, and that you've been vetted, and you're a true referral. Carl Lucci does this well. Jeff does this well. They want to know that you know your business and that you're going to talk to people, right? And when you do this, those are the higher ticket sales. These are referral partners. Isn't it important? Isn't it worth a few bucks to get a real referral partner? How many people did you meet in the room that were new, Coleen, that you got to meet, that you've met at these summits? How many people are you like, hey, we're connected? There's Tawana Lowry who does story sharing, and people came in. She met Angelina. Angelina and her had a conversation. There's a client. How important is it if you're charging a few $1,000s or more, or a higher ticket even? How important is it for them to relate to you? The relatability to be able to ask a critical question without being shamed or the canceled because you want to have a true rich conversation. It is huge. It's ginormous. And that's what people are getting back to. That's why podcasts are better than the large media companies. Besides all the weird stuff that they sell, let's not even go down that rabbit hole. But really, you get to have that conversation. It's relatability. And you cannot get that in a large room because you feel like, I'm not everybody. Maybe you have some FOMO, you want to get into that room, go right ahead. But when do you have a chance to ask a question? You don't. Who's going to acknowledge you? Nobody. Because you're not really there, you don't exist. And if you want to, we're really all attention deficit. We are deficit of attention. And that's why we're acting silly and stupid online with these crazy videos. Yes, I know I go down them all the time. I love to watch Jim Fails. That's just a thing if people don't know about me. It's fun because it's what not to do. And it's just people saying, hey, you're being silly because you're not paying attention to what's going on. And you really aren't putting in the good work. Perfect practice makes perfection in the end. We're all striving to perfection at some point, no matter how much we say we are not. But if you're strategic and you're cutthroat and you're a focused person and you're truly a leader, and yes, you're the red and blue in bank, or you're the alpha male. I remember that test years ago. When you're that person and you want to strive for something, you need to practice. You need to perfectly practice as well as you can to make that, take that action and hit that goal.
And so, Nicole, in a world where we are trying to build these relationships, it's obviously very important that we build relationships and we're trying to build connections. A year ago, we were going under the guise of, hey, post 3 times a day, every day, captions with graphics, do it across all your social mediums, right? And now I feel like that shift is like, we don't care how, personally, I should say, I don't care how many likes I get on something. What I want to do is make sure that my message is resonating with people. And when you consider the touch points that you have, so if you're just reading a caption and looking at a graphic, that's fewer touch points than if I come on in a short clip video, maybe taken from a summit that I was on or a webinar that I was teaching, and just a 60-second or 45-second clip of something about that piques the interest. They get to see the way that I move, the way that I, whatever, touch my hair, the way that I speak, all of the things, as well as hearing the message. And I feel like that just resonates so much better. And people feel like maybe they know you better, right? And so it is just a short window of time, but it's enough if you use it correctly to pique their interest. And so I think that when we're talking about one of the things that we talked about earlier was to ditch a posting slot. If you ditch a posting slot, take one day that you would normally, or maybe you post twice a day. Take one of those times and delete, go get away from the caption and graphic, and just put a short clip video of you on and see how that resonates. I'm wondering what the audience thinks. Drop in the chat if you think that that would be better or worse or take too much time, or what are your thoughts on that? I'd love to know, like, better or worse. Let's go with that.
Well, I think that's great because when you do ditch a posting slot, like you're saying, right? So you take a day and you're going out there and you're posting a video. Video moves, shorts move better. Whether you're on TikTok, whether you're on LinkedIn, video moves people. Don't forget to put the captions on there and the subtitles, because we're not always in a place where we can have it turned on and then we miss the whole thing. And some people forget to put the content in down in the bottom. So those are a few things. Just double check, right? There's got to be a way to read it because we're other places that we have a phone and we're not necessarily in the place that we're really supposed to be watching a video. Oops. But the great thing is that there's a difference in some other social media, right? So looking at alternatives of, hey, you did this really great one the other day where you had the faces. Oh my God, that was so funny, right? Your mom was telling you not to make those faces or watch your face or whatever, but it is so funny because it's true. We're human, and if I'm human, this is how you know I'm not AI, right? Because I sit over here or move over here, I cover something up. I'm human. It's just my name. It's no big deal. But people are like, you got to be right here. I'm not a robot. I'm not AI. And then when you put these other posts of a laugh moment or something like, hey, did you think of this too? Oh my gosh, I'm wondering if anybody else has had this moment. And we're all on Zoom. And it's like people are so critical of the face that you're making. Why? Because I'm human. I don't have a poker face. Sorry. Sometimes I'll have to look down or turn off my camera just to distract myself because I know it's coming and it's not a punchline. It's like, oh, oops, did you really go to say that? But that's if you're a few steps ahead, you can catch it. But the thing is that you're changing and moving the algorithm of other people that will come to your channel. If you just do boring AI post and you're not an AI person, you don't coach AI, and you think it's a great tool, share the tool, but every day should not be a fake AI. It should have some human content. It's coming more. The creativity needs to be there. Michio Kaku talked about it a bazillion years ago, it seems now, but it's those creative souls that are going to make money and pivot in the industry. And I know this is what you do so well, Colleen, is you're able to really pivot and move the business and find that niche or change things around so people will come in the store, or people will work with you or talk to you. You need to get those other people. You need to see that on social media. It's just a simple thing. A few face shots or a face moment where you have with the grandbabies, they're making waffles. What does that have to do with anything? It has to do with everything with your business because it's important to you and your family. If it has nothing to do with your business, don't put it on LinkedIn. If it has nothing to do with why you work so darn hard, work hard, play hard, and you go skiing, then that has everything to do with it. It is a virtual moment. Every point, this is what I talk about with leveraging the stage. Everything comes back to what? Those moments that you can have that one stage where you can network with people, find new referrals, find new power partners, build relationships, and get new clients, and gain some leads that you can email market to and have some social media pals. You got this all at once. You work so hard. Now you've got all this great content, and then you can go be with your family or do something else that you love. Those moments have to do with it, but it has to do with everything is, are you putting the marketing in there where it circles back to why it's important in your business? Then it makes sense. If you're
Right.
throwing a 10,000 reposts, then it makes sense to nobody. Nobody knows what you're talking about or why you like that person. Hey, I'm reposting this because that's a collaborator of mine. Just put a sentence in there. Just tell people why it's important to you.
I love that. And so if we were to go to our social media right now, let's just say LinkedIn, because I believe we're all on LinkedIn. If we were to go to LinkedIn and just scroll through your feed, how many short clips are you going to see? I'm going to go with less than 10% is what I'm going to see. And so by posting short clips, can you guys hear the lawnmower?
No,
Okay, God, because it is so loud. Um, by posting short clips, that sets me apart from the other post. It becomes the one that people stop at because it's real, right? And so, funny thing about the post with the faces, I try to only post those kinds of things on the weekend, but I happen to be going back through Zoom and see some looking at all the different things and deleting meetings. I'm like, oh my gosh, look at my face. My mother was so right. Where did I get that face? And my kids are like, Mom, change your face. My kids can tell, my friends can tell you hate them. They told me that all the time. I'm like, but just
change your face.
just funny little things like that. But also, as Nicole was saying, sharing the things that your why in video is important as well. But really today we're talking about taking that moment from stage or a webinar and repurposing it into content that actually connects. So not only are you going to be making the connection in the rooms that you're in, and hopefully they are smaller rooms so those connections are made, but then being able to just connect on social media as well, maybe for people who weren't there. And it can have a reference to that. Hey, if you missed the summit, this is one highlight that I loved, and share that, right? But really being able to do that, I think, sets you apart. And that's what we want to do, because when we become like everybody else, we blend in. And we have all worked way too hard on our businesses to be blending in. We all have very unique things that we bring to the table, whether it's our mannerisms, the way we speak, the depth of our voice, whatever it is, as well as the talents that are unique that we bring. And this is just a great way to highlight those. And I think that is so important. And really, when you blend in, it's not a matter of, oh, I don't want to stand out, I don't want to be too loud. It's not that. It's that it's expensive to blend in. When you blend in, you are leaving money on the table. Let's put that in that framework, because if you look like everybody else, nobody's pausing. And what a disservice you're doing to the world by blending in. when you stand out, when you stand true in your message and you share it, no matter how, whatever, the video I shared, I think on Saturday was my granddaughter sitting on the kitchen counter, and we do that at Grammy's house. And she was making waffles with me. And just the cutest little thing there. But my counters weren't clean. My house wasn't clean. Are you kidding me? I had 3 kids aged 2, 4, and 7 running around the house. My house was not clean. It was not aesthetically pleasing, but it was fun to capture the moment and to share with people like, look, this is why I do this. So many people say to me, well, you can't not work Fridays. You have a business. And I'm like, actually, I quit working Thursdays at 2:30, and I can, and I do, and I don't work again until Sunday morning. And this is why, because I designed my business to give me the time that I want for the things that I want in life. And I think if we all share that thing, that is just really moves the needle in our business, makes us more relatable on a huge level. I understand LinkedIn is for business, but I think that really just taking advantage of that is a big thing.
Well, it's huge. Why are you in business? What are you doing in business? What are you doing? Why are you doing it? It's that's really what's all about. Do something you love. And you're having fun, you're doing the thing, you're having a moment. And life is messy. Cooking is messy. I remember I cooked. I was a lead cook at TGI Fridays way back when I went before I went to the police academy, and I would come home as a total wreck and a mess, but having fun, right? What are you doing? You're showing I work. I'm human. I'm having a good time. And if your house is always perfect, guess what? You're not human. You must not move past the couch. You're sitting there all day. If your kitchen is perfect, how many edits are you really doing in your video? So let's look at that truly. Are there's edits. There's things people shouldn't see. No, if you are a hoarder and you got lots of cats, people don't need to see that in the background. That's where you use a background. But, hey, it's just, that's different versus, hey, I'm having fun. I'm having a good life. I'm being human. You see these houses that people never live in, and they've got a staff of 2 or 3 running around chasing after them, sweeping up. We don't all have that in life. We don't all need that in life. What we do need is to really bring those mic drop moments. That's what you do it for. People want relatability, and in order to get the relatability, they need to kind of know you without really truly knowing you. They don't need to know, your dress size. They don't need to know your shoe size. If you don't want to tell them your age, that's fine too. I'm 53. Yes, I use Zoom filters because it makes me feel better. I don't care, right? But it's that point of really getting into it. What does this have to do, Nicole, with marketing? Well, guess what? It moves the algorithm. It gets other people into your feed. It's going to change some stuff, and LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram know that you're real and you're not doing AI content and you're not that boring. So, let's look at that. But it also has to do with your story. Are you telling a good story, right? I've got all these expletives I want to say, but if you're really, really boring, nobody's listening to you, you're cookie cutter. If you're saying something, put a few key terms in there. But if you're saying something, I noticed those real banger women in the room, Brazil, that were coming to stage that had something to talk about, used a few key terms because you're talking business strategy and structure. But when it came to life, you pivot and you woke up and you lit up. What is your story? What's your backstory, right? Before doing summits, I was in virtual reality. Why did I get into that? Because it was there. I was able to get into the business, and it was very simple to use, and I could share with people the benefits of owning a business in there. It's a 360 walk-in website. Yeah, it seems like, oh, Nicole, it's so like it's not, there's no connection. First of all, as a chairwoman of Confronting Domestic Violence, gives people anonymity. We take pictures of everything. We take a little too much, a little too TMI. Stop sharing other people's license plates. You're diming them out. They may be doing something special for someone's birthday, or they may be doing something they shouldn't be doing. Stop taking pictures of people's license plates at the Olive Garden. It's not your business to share. So you know it's called plausible deniability, right? You don't want to start a fight. But the other thing is that when you're not oversharing and you're sharing good content, you really want to be able to do that. However, going back to domestic violence victims, some of them couldn't be on camera. And we could verify who they are. We could lock down the room and get people a safe space to talk in where they were comfortable, maybe coming in like a panda bear or giraffe, or maybe even an avatar that kind of looked like them because they weren't comfortable telling their story. And we could pre record it or live stream. But it gives them anonymity, gives them a place where nobody's going to share stuff that they shouldn't share. And it gives them a lot of control and comfort. However, in spatial.io, you have this chance to bring in a little circle, a little bubble, just like in Zoom. It's not a square, it's a circle where you can see your little face. That face, you know, that big face of yours that Descript loves to cut and get really zoned in on. I don't know why Descript does it on the shorts, but the thing is that if you know, you know. But when you're looking at this, it's another place for you to go to and have connection. Where can you have connection? And the other real reason I started doing it was because I no longer had the 9 to 5. I no longer had the choice to work that job anymore in 2020. So moving online and seeing the ability to come online and as a tech supporter and a person who supports people in the tech space in workshops and masterminds and master classes, I do a lot of behind the scenes. Yes, I wear a lot of black. I'm not necessarily the one that needs to stand out, but you know, I can stand out with who I am. I
I
can
love
stand
that.
out with my personality and my character.
Yeah, and I love that, Nicole. That takes me back to we had Mike was a co-host a couple weeks ago, and what he talked about was having your audience be the center of your story. And when you get in a room that's small enough, you get to know your audience, and so it's easier to do that. And when they are the center of your story, it draws them in more. But once again, you have to get in that small room and you have to utilize that as a marketing tool. You have to understand why you're in there. And while you're sharing your story, your audience has to be the center of your story, right? Does that make sense? And that brings things full circle, builds the relationship. And we have moved so far by doing that past captions and graphics and posting on social media that it's unreal. Not only are you going to get calls off of the summit or the webinar or the people that are in that room, but when you share those short clips, what happens is, and my husband will testify to this, he'll say to me all the time, quit just going on and recording yourself. Go on and actually get in a conversation with somebody because they can feel what you're saying. Like Leanne said, they can absolutely feel what you're saying. And when they can feel what you're saying, that is captured on video and you share that short clip. And then anybody that sees that and pauses and listens to it can also feel that and feel the weight of that. And that builds the curiosity and draws them into your marketing plan. Does that make sense to everybody? Does that resonate?
100%. Look at these. The heads are shaking there. I love this.
Good.
It's connection. Are you connected? If you have a script, you absolutely. I love that. Leanne's throwing all the love and the celebration in there. Thanks. You know, it's so good because where are you relatable? Where do you shine? If you have a script, you have to practice it. If you have a script, you've got to be able to have that relationship with the camera. And that is with people coming on camera. And in Voice Lab, we share this in the workshops. So there's a few more workshops coming up, and there's some master classes coming up in Voice Lab, you guys. This is stage presence. There's coaching. There's ways to get paid as a speaker. That's coming up. I'll share that information in the chat in just a second. And I also have a workshop coming up, and that's what we're going to do in that workshop. You know, it's not that people are afraid to get on camera. It's kind of boring. It's a very platonic, vanilla relationship. You know, right? It's that pizza date. Oh, cold pizza, warm beer the next morning kind of relationship. So when you're on camera alone, that's where it can be. Are you positioning it right? Is that thing there? And it's like, oh God, do I really have to talk to myself? Because the monkeys in my head are having a conversation. The angel and the devil like Animal House have showed up on my shoulders and they're fighting with one another when I'm getting on camera because there's 101 things going on. So that's really what it is. But when we come into Voice Lab and those workshops are coming on, what happens is you can come in that room and you can be there and say, hey, this is here. What's the secret to this? What are some steps? 5 steps to lead high impact event is how to lead that event. You're going to plan, you're going to promote, that equals a profit with affiliation, with putting out your email market. And you got to do it a couple of times. But you want to get a blueprint and you want to have an audience strategy. Part of that strategy is to shut up and pause after you asked a question and let people react. Take a breath. If people are popping in the room while you're talking, take 10 seconds. They can wait in the waiting room up from 2 to 5 minutes. If they've come in after the live, if they've come in after the workshop, they can wait. They may, whatever the excuse is, we all have life, maybe got stuck in Zoom rush hour traffic in the wait room. That's okay. But they can wait because you're discussing a message, you're sharing a give and take and building relationship and dropping some mic drop moments and some fantastical takeaways in the workshop with the people that are there. Your focus should be those people already there. Bring the people in the weight room, in the weight room. That way you're not like over here, over here, over here. Oh my God, squirrel. So be in the room. These are the steps, 5 steps to really plan and promote that. What does it take? Part of that takes building relationships. Part of that takes turning on the mic. And part of it takes, here's a secret, note to self, you need to have notes. You can't rant. Trust me, no, you can't, because your message makes no sense. And your message is a mess. Where your mess should become a message, your message is just a total mess. And if people are asking you questions 20 times and you get in the room and you decide, I already answered that, just like I answered before, these people are dumb. It's coming across, folks. It's coming across. They didn't understand your message. So here's a mistake that a lot of people make. I've made it myself. So I had to put a post-it note, note to self. If people were asking the same question 20 million flipping times, and yes, there is a thing as a bad question. If people are asking the same thing repeatedly, you need to pivot and answer in another way. Perhaps you need to show them part of a presentation. Maybe you need to show them a slide. Maybe you need to give them some love. Hey, friend, how about we get on a call? It is a no-cost call. I am giving this call to you. I'm giving the gift of 30 minutes of my time. I want to talk to you. This might be something that we can work on one-to-one, because this way I can dedicate my time to you. And that's where you're serving. That's where you're blessing them with your time. The other thing is that they may not be up to snuff as the other people in the room. So you want to make sure that you honor the other people in the room and that you honor the person that isn't able to follow along. But please do try to say it 1 or 2 other ways so you can explain it to them. Maybe you need to show them a document. Maybe you need to share your screen and say, hey, have you seen this? Does this make sense? Oh, I get it. There's probably 101 things going on, like, in their life or in all their tabs that they just can't compress it. And I've done this. It happens to me, right? I have issues where I'm like, I'm so stuck right here. Can you just give me one answer before we move on? Because otherwise I'm totally lost for the rest of the day because I stick with that answer. That is the way that it works in my head. So I understand. I'm right with you. And we should all be saying, hey, everybody learns different. Don't rush it. Slow it down. Give them some time. And that's why you schedule a little extra time. So if your workshop is 45 minutes, if it's an hour and a half, save 15 to 30 minutes of a buffer time so you can stay like the good teacher after class and you can share with your students the apples and the nuggets that they need because you are still serving. If you rush off, okay, bye. That is, what are you sharing with people, right?
You're leaving money on the table again. And I will say too that, having homeschooled 4 children, one with a learning disability, they all learn so differently. And so being creative in how to come up with a different way to share your message. And it's maybe something to do in advance, just just ask AI or ask different people. Did that make sense to you? Or my favorite with my kids was to say, okay, tell me back what I said to you, right? Just so that we can get clear on it. And so many times it wasn't exactly right. So being able to refine that is huge. Now I will give a tip to two tips. First of all, if you have challenges coming on camera because you feel like it's just too many people and you can't talk to that many people. I don't remember where I was last week when this was said. They said cut the room in quadrants into 4 sections, boom, and then focus on the section, find one person in that section to make eye contact with, and then go to another quadrant, find one person in that little quadrant to make eye contact with, all the way around. And so that makes it more like you're in a room with 4 people than 40 people, right? If you will. And then my second tip would be if you're at all challenged by coming on and doing a webinar or coming on and doing a workshop or anything like that, I don't know what, I'm sorry, you can hear the lawnmower.
That's okay.
I can't help him. He is my favorite farmer. I guess life, right? Thank God it's mowing the lawn because it's rained every day for the past 6 days and it's supposed to rain for the next 6. So I'll give him a break. But if you are nervous about coming on because maybe handling the tech isn't your thing, you're not sure if you can get over through your slides and you're not sure if you can let people into the room, keep the chat going, do all of the things, then hire somebody like Nicole. Do you think that she was in my world by accident? No. When I wanted to go on and do something, I said, Nicole, I need you to come into my masterclass and help me because I can barely get my slides going by myself, let alone talk to people. And so she comes in and does that. And she does that as part of what her services she offers is she'll come in and co-host with you quietly in the background, just letting people in, keeping the chat alive, dropping your links when you say, oh, I'm having a masterclass this week. She drops the links. It's like magic, it appears. One less thing for you to worry about as a speaker or a presenter. So let's go, Nicole, let's open up for questions. I'm going to mute myself and close the windows and let's open the floor for questions. If anybody has a question, go ahead and take the mic.
I don't have a question, but I am thoroughly enjoying this conversation because it's so valuable. You guys are hitting on so many just really important points, really important points. And I just really appreciate it. It is totally resonating with me. And the last thing you said, Colleen, about having a sidekick over here to sprinkle in what you need when you need it so you can focus on what you're trying to focus on. Oh, that is like everything because when you're trying to juggle all those balls, you drop something. You just do. So I agree with you there.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think that, you know what, learning that you aren't the best to do all the things in your business. There are other people that can do it better than you. And so I chose not to get anxious about it and worry about it too much. Just hand it off to Nicole and say, Nicole, you do that. And that's not saying that I'm not going to learn because now we've been doing it for 5 months and I can do it on my own now. But it was learning at my own pace, learning when I was relaxed, so that I could gain the confidence without feeling like, oh, I'm going to drown. I don't know the right word of that, but absolute panic would happen when I would see somebody trying to enter a room and I'm trying to do slides and teach my master class. And so, yeah, I just
Even
absolutely
when you can do it by yourself, it's just way more fun and just makes it easier, and it's smoother. Because I can do some stuff. I know that difference. Like you're talking about, Colleen, doing it yourself. Like, yeah, I can, right? But oh my goodness, I would so much rather not. When if I have somebody else that can just do it with me or for me, and it's smoother.
It is. And so let's, anybody else have any?
Carl's got his hand up, but let me comment on that if I can really quick. What I do want to say is it does make it smoother. Why are you doing it all yourself just because you can? You prove to yourself, good job, girl. You go, girl power. You proved you can do it. Now step back. Be a leader, be the CEO. You told yourself you're the CEO. You marketed to everybody that you're a CEO. That means a true CEO leads by example, and delegates to their team's strengths. Why do you need to be distracted? People see that if you're a coach. They love you, they support you, but it is in the subliminal message that you are so darn distracted, you may lose a sale on it. It may take time. You can do that. But if you're just starting your webinar, your masterclass, or your workshop, if you're so distracted all over the place, you don't need to be the mom in the store where the kids are running around, right? And you're still putting the Snickers. No, you can't have the candy. No, you can't have the candy. Stop it, stop it, stop it, or I'll spank you. Please, just do it already. But you're doing that. That is what you're doing. You're all over the place. We are confusing multitasking with multifunctioning. You are a multifunctional human being. You do not need to multitask and put it all in one basket because you don't need it. Just like a kid needs all their toys, right? When they're going on the trip. No, they're all my favorite. Do you really need it? No, you're distracted. Stop it. You're not helping yourself. You're not helping your client. And Carl had his hand up, though. Let me bring you up here, Carl.
Yeah, I just want to make, first of all, I agree with everything you're saying, but one of the topics I made some notes because I didn't want to forget was keeping things short, especially like videos or you're doing presentations. We kind of live in a X world or Twitter world where everybody is doing sound bites and small things they want it now and then get out. And I used to be in the television production business. And if you notice, most TV commercials, unless it's an infomercial, are 30 seconds, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, or a minute. And if you got to buy a 6-pack to watch it, most likely they're not going to watch it, So make it, make it short, get your point out. The other thing is putting on my business consulting hat. One of the things I tell everybody that I've ever spoken with doing consulting is if you're not distinct at what you do, you might become extinct at what you do. So it's okay to be a little bit different. It's okay to come across a little bit different, as Nicole was saying. And you don't have to be perfect, but make it something where you're going to be memorable. Because if you're just another realtor or another chiropractor or whatever, you're just another realtor. Okay. I used to tell realtors, why don't you tell people you're a property acquisition specialist instead of a realtor? And well, what is that? It's a realtor. Okay. But it makes them I used to know an insurance guy that used to wear flowered Hawaiian shirts. Everybody else had a coat and tie. Guess what? I still remember this guy 15 years later. Okay. Because he just wore, it doesn't have to be big, but you have to be, if you're not distinct, you might become extinct. Right. And then the other thing is about small groups. When you're talking about I love smaller groups. My networking events, my sweet spot, I don't tell everybody this, but my sweet spot is 16 to 18 people. Over that, it's like herding cats. And people are only attending large events because there's a lot of people there. How many people do you really get to meet when there's 150 people there? Probably 6 or 8 if you're lucky. And you're not going to spend a lot of time with them. So don't avoid attending anything where there's a small group of people because you have more time to interact with everybody, in my opinion. And I believe, Nicole, that's kind of what you were relaying.
100%.
And as far as AI, I'm not really here today. I'm AI today, but I am here today. But AI is great for a lot of things, but I do think, you need to show up. You need to be in person.
Is it real or is it Memorex? You guys remember that?
I would like to just extend the invitation. Carl, will you please go ahead and drop your link again? Just drop it at the bottom, and I will extend an invitation to Jeff, Leanne, and Mike to please jump in on Carl's networking. It is usually a small, friendly group. I am a partner with Carl, and I love the group. There's a lot of support in there and a lot of relationship building. It's a good group to go to, and it is on Wednesday afternoons. So I love attending that. I'd love to see all of you in there. Go ahead, Mike.
Thanks.
Well, I can vouch. It's been a while since I've been at Carl's meeting, but I've been there plenty. I can definitely vouch for that. You're talking about the big meetings. Sometimes you go and there's 100 people. Murphy's Law, you're going to meet people you've already met. It's just the way it is. It's just like the bigger the meeting, the more likely you're going to have the same 3 people you met last week. That's just what it is. I did want to comment about with the VA and delegating. I always say you can delegate the back office tasks. I've been coming across more and more people who are delegating their communication. I got in a smart connect with somebody who was a VA, I knew who he was representing, and you shouldn't be sending people to face on your behalf. There's one in particular who I booked a call with somebody, and then I'm talking to the person's assistant. Oh, she'll be with you in just a moment. And this is a power play, and I'll never do business with. It happens to be a very talented somebody. I'll never do business with that person because of that lack of respect. Oh, well, once you're done talking to the hand, you can wait with my VA. And then when you get on the call, the VA is saying, oh, we have to get going now. And it's really making you feel like an accessory. When it comes to delegating, I think it's really important. You delegate the back office and you've got to be front and center for your audience.
Well, that's 100%. Yeah. But what I mean by delegate is delegate to the team of what they need to do. If it's a virtual assistant, that's a virtual assistant. It is not somebody you trained to be a coach in your coaching program to be as good as you. That is a different form of delegation. If your virtual assistant is doing everything and running your office, then you need to start paying them more like a team player. There is a difference between a team, and Mike, you said that well. I've been in conversations where someone would not talk to me. They had to bring their virtual assistant emotional support dog with them. They to answer questions. Well, this is what she's saying. I hear you. We are in the same room.
Yes.
And yes, you do feel that way. There is a time and a place where you need a personal assistant, a vice president, or a coaching team, or a consultant, or someone else that can show up, right? There's some collaborations you and I have, Coleen, where, hey, like today, I showed up in place. I'm here taking that role, and that's okay. But yes, Mike, so true, so true. Who are you delegating these tasks to? And do you know that they are competent in it? Because you have that much control where you're still micromanaging and holding their hand and you can't let them go, then they're not truly your team and you don't support them. So these are a lot of things that we talk about behind the scenes that so affect you in a virtual space, and people don't understand. We're just playing games, right? And if you're getting lost in the sauce, there's rooms I've been in with 30 to 50 people, and I still got in the 3 breakout rooms with the same one guy. Who set that up, right?
I did that, and I got in a room with 2 people repeatedly over and over. And if you know me, you know this isn't my jive, but I got in a room with a dog whisperer and an avatar builder. And, 3 times in a row. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And I finally said, I don't need a dog whisperer. I have sheep. And they're like, oh, you have sheep? And I'm like, okay, end the conversation. But I do want to say, Mike, to your point, what you were saying is what I teach is there are 4 things we never delegate, right? We never delegate our relationship with our team or our prospects. We never delegate being the face and voice of our business. We never delegate our strategy. You are the one who is in charge of your business strategy, and we never ever delegate our relationship with our clients. You've got to be the face to welcome them in. You've got to be the face when there are hard conversations to have. But I too have been in that. And I sat in a situation like that, Mike, got in a meeting and I'm like, I'm sorry, who are you? Oh, well, I'm their admin. I'm like, okay, and well, he'll be in a minute. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah, I'll
funny,
be
'cause
out in a minute.
you weren't on the invitation. And I sat there for 2 more minutes and he's like, I don't know that he's going to be able to make it. And I'm like, thank you for wasting my time. Have a great day. Click, I'm out. Never spoke to them again. And they reached out. Oh, I'm so sorry. No. How'd that work for you? No, nobody wants that. So, Nicole, we're going to close up here, but I have 3 questions for you. Are you ready, girl?
No. Okay, yes, go
You
ahead.
got about a half a second. Okay, what's the one thing everyone in your industry is doing that you think is complete bullshit, and why are they still doing it?
Uh, they're delegating the wrong task. What I would say, let's go back to that. They're doing it themselves. The DIY, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Let go and let God. Trust people, right? Let go and trust people. Let go of the control and stop micromanaging.
Okay, this one's a little bit more personal. What's a mistake you made that cost you serious money or time that you kept making anyways because you were too proud or too scared to admit that it wasn't working?
I would say avoiding certain social media platforms because there are clients in different spaces. And I thought, oh, I'll just stay in one place because I know my lane. But I think there's a sense to branch out and to really get on social media and engage as much as I can, and actually reaching out to people. The biggest mistake, I think, even deeper, is reaching out to people and getting on a one-to-one call with them.
Okay. And one last one. Are you ready?
Sure.
If you could give only one piece of advice to someone in your industry, but it would go completely against the grain, what would it be and why is it worth the backlash?
Um, you know, Not charging your speakers for a summit,
So
not
you think they
charging.
should or they shouldn't charge them?
I think they should charge. I think they should charge. I think you should charge. It's 250 hours of work. That's 250 hours of you building the stage, of you marketing, of you putting out the emails, of you getting the leads, of you bringing people to the room, of you creating and relationships, curating relationships, building relationships, talking about it. And then people come on your stage and they leave trash everywhere, which means that they don't promote, they don't reach out, they don't respect you enough to even get on a call with you, get on a podcast with you, come to a networking event, or show up at your workshop and support you after the event for what you did.
Okay, I am going to say to that I agree, but I agree across the board. All the way, I feel like people appreciate and value what they pay for. When I was working with one of my clients and she has a magazine and I was saying, "No, charge. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me? Charge for the freaking cover picture.
Yeah.
Charge people to do this. Charge them, They want to advertise your magazine, charge them. You got to charge them." And even when there are small speaking opportunities, I think that they should be paid for. I think people remember that they've paid and they follow through better. I would even say to you, Carl, that your little things, I know they're a bonus for your partnerships, but I think that those could be monetized. You could have a guest that pays to be a guest that isn't maybe in the partnership or something, but charge. When people pay, they show up and they shine better. They place value on it. It is no different than my kids. The first three kids, I bought them a freaking car. No kidding. Just went out and bought them a car. And you know what they did? They rolled them or they wrecked them.
Ugh.
The fourth one, and she hates me to this day. I made her pay for half her car, and she is the only one, and it's because she's a baby, and because we didn't love her as much, and guess what? She drove the wheels off that thing. And I'm like, there you go. So we finally figured it out as parents, but they appreciate more and take care of and pay attention to what they pay for.
Yes, yes. And that's not to say don't reward them with extra value and bonuses.
Yeah, and it's
Maybe
not to
maybe
say
create a
that.
sponsorship, maybe affiliate their product, maybe make them a commercial, maybe bring them on an extra podcast, maybe do a longer podcast, maybe shout out in your newsletter how amazing they were. So there, or on social media, and this is where I'm adding a portion of my marketing, is to really share and shout out other business owners that have collaborated with me and giving me great nuggets. I want to support those people that support me and truly show up. And I think that let's remember what collaboration truly is.
Yeah, and it's not to say that you have to charge thousands of dollars. I think when my friend started charging, she was charging $100 for the cover of her magazine. you know well, that's $1,200 a year. I mean, just the little things like that. And if there were added benefits, I feel like, this is just for me personally, but I feel like coming on my podcast is, I've always done it, allowed people on for free, and I give so much value. After you are the guest on my podcast, you get short clips of yourself that you can take. If you had somebody just go make you those clips, it would charge you minimum $50 if you had somebody over in Cambodia make those for you. Okay, so you get all these short clips that you can go promote yourself in all the different places with. You get promoted to my audience on Facebook, in all my groups on Facebook, in my school group, in my membership. You get promoted everywhere in my newsletter. I send out an email about you. I mean, all the values there. Why don't I charge for it? I don't know. I probably should, but I really like hand selecting and picking who I work with too, and I really like that. And I love this. I love what I do. It's really fun. So thank you all for coming. Nicole, this has been amazing. It always is with you. I appreciate the fact that I can always rely on you. And I would say to everybody, you know what? If you need help backhand stage, get Nicole. She's a great person to have there with you. This has been Monday Morning Business Foreplay. If today's conversation has helped you see something differently, made one clearer decision, or take one meaningful step forward, then it has done exactly what it's supposed to, because clarity creates momentum and momentum beats motivation every day. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for joining us.
A little tickle, a little tantalizing. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thanks.
Bye-bye, bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye, bye-bye.